Hey guys, tonight we slip off your sneakers and poof, you're padding through the warm sands of ancient Egypt. Yes, you. The Nile's glimmering nearby, the sun's a golden flood, and everyone's got a serious shimmer going on. Gold dust freckled across exposed skin. Coal swoops so wild it could rival a Bond villain's, and, let's not kid ourselves, if you forgot your linen scarf for sun protection, good luck. You probably won't survive this without at least one sunburn that outshines a pyramid. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Go ahead, drop your location and local time in the comments. Bonus points if you're multitasking with a face mask on. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You trudge through an ancient village, the sharp tang of lotus oil wafting past from a passing worker. Sunlight glances off mud brick houses, birds flit between palm trees, and everywhere you look, eyes. Those bold, inky coal eyes. Egyptian beauty isn't just skin deep, though. You realize right away there's a ritual to it, a discipline. In this heat, it's a necessity. The first thing that hits you is the scent. Fragrant oils, myrrh swirling with sweet almond oil. Even school children wear protective ointments, which, in a twist even modern dermatologists would respect, kept skin both hydrated and guarded from relentless sun. At the riverbank, two girls are snickering over a battered bronze mirror, smoothing black coal paste along their lower lids. Sure, it's smudge-proof, but more than that, it's ceremonial armor against the evil eye. Mainstream historians tell us this look wasn't just about aesthetics. It was believed to ward off infection and dark magic alike. And what a practical trend it turned out to be. Plus, even the most ordinary citizens are slathered in sun mixtures. You spot kids with reeds slung over their backs, not books. They dip into the Nile during the muggiest hours, their faces slightly sticky from a mixture of ochre clay and, yes, believe it or not, sometimes even crocodile dung, a fringe protection against burning rays. Everyone seems to have perfect blunt-cut hair. Or is it? No, look closer. These aren't all real locks. Wigs are as essential as, say, your morning coffee run. Made of human hair, sheep wool, or palm fibers, they keep lice at bay and double as fashion for both men and women. You spot a baker's wife patting a thick black wig, probably reserved for feasts, and catch a fisherman's son wearing something suspiciously flaxen, either a bold choice or some cousin's cast off. Not to be outdone, even laborers in the fields bear traces of this ongoing pageant. Bronze bracelets glint on brown arms. Men brush on perfumed substance behind each ear, hoping to sidestep the stench of hard work. The ancient equivalent of deodorant, perhaps. There's that quirky tidbit you just can't unsee. Rumors persist. Some folks dabbed their pulses with a mashed garlic milk concoction because, apparently, even crocodile dung sunscreen wasn't enough to curb all of life's little hazards. Still, beauty standards run deeper than appearance. A scholar's scroll hints that the gods themselves established these ideals. Nefer, the root for beauty, is everywhere in temples and songs. To be beautiful is to be pleasing to the gods, and by extension to everyone else. There's an unspoken hierarchy in every gesture, every bead strung on a leather thong. Still, historians differ. Was this strictly about devotion, or a shrewd flex of social status, a way to climb up the dusty ladder of hierarchy? Scholars still argue whether beauty rituals originated with the priestly elite, or if they trickled down from foreign conquests, each adding their own layer of mystique. The neighbor next door, well, next hut, offers you a squat jar. You glance in its mouth, a blend of red ochre maybe, or malachite. She smears a dab on your cheeks, pinching until you glow with a flush somehow simultaneously youthful and predatory. It's not just about showing off. Coloring your face means you're alive, healthy, divine adjacent. Even statuary in temples wears bold painted lines. Evenings are the time for communal cleansing. Everyone washes, oils up, a glug of sesame or castor oil for each limb, braids their hair, and rubs scented resin into shoulders. You catch a little girl, giggling as her mother chases a stubborn louse with a two-pronged ivory comb, then slipping on a fresh dark bob-cut wig for the evening meal. As the land cools under the creak of cicada song, you see lanterns flickering behind woven screens. On special occasions, cosmetics aren't just for those with money. Temple musicians, peasant girls really, dot their lashes with powdered ore borrowed from the big houses, preparing to dance for both nobles and gods. Beauty in ancient Egypt is communal, adaptable, and as much about function as flair. Could anyone keep up every day? Well, you're already sweating under your borrowed wig, so maybe not. At least you'll blend right in at tomorrow's market. You step into the shimmering world of Cleopatra, a queen whose name alone echoes beauty and power across millennia. Not just a pretty face, she wields allure as a weapon forged from intellect, culture, and calculated charisma. Cleopatra's beauty is legendary: sun-kissed skin, dark eyes lined with the timeless kohl, and a presence so magnetic it bends politics itself. Her story is stitched with glamour and grit. Historians still argue whether it was her beauty or her brilliant mind that first captured Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony. But the truth is, it was both. A potent cocktail that shaped the fate of empires. You imagine her lounges, where ochre-painted walls flicker with oil lamps, her fragrant perfumes wafting as she strategizes in sumptuous silks. Cleopatra's makeup ritual goes beyond mere vanity. She understood the symbolism behind every color and stroke. Green malachite on her eyelids for protection, black kohl to ward off evil, and red ochre lips hinting at vitality. But her charm was also in her mastery of fashion. Pearls, gold leaf, and elaborate headdresses crowned her like a goddess incarnate. Yet, Cleopatra's allure was not just for show. It powered alliances, political strategies, and propaganda. Coins minted with her image circulated the Mediterranean, spreading her beauty and authority far beyond Egypt's borders. You hold one of these ancient coins, a tiny ambassador of her reign, glorifying a queen who blurred the line between mortal and divine. She played with image and intellect to control her story in a world dominated by men. Scholars debate how much her appearance versus her political acumen impacted history, but both are inseparable. You see the layers of calculated elegance in every gesture, from the deliberate tilt of her head to the silk trails she left behind. Behind the scenes, Cleopatra's beauty was also a matter of health and science. She bathed in milk and honey, natural exfoliants and moisturizers, combined with fragrant oils derived from native flowers and imported spices. These rituals were part of her daily armor, a tactile extension of her political strategy. Something quirkier. One story whispers that she used crushed beetles for a red tint on her cheeks and lips. Talk about natural cosmetics with a bite. And think about the scholarly debate that persists to this day over her true appearance, as sculptures and coins sometimes present conflicting images. Was she a flawless beauty, or a ruler whose charisma transcended looks? Yet, whatever Cleopatra truly looked like, her legacy as the ultimate symbol of beauty and power endures. As you walk away from her court, you carry a little of that mystique yourself, wondering how much of charm is skin deep and how much is pure strategy. As you stroll through the bustling city of Thebes, the heartbeat of ancient aristocracy, you find yourself drawn into the lush, fragrant world of its noblewomen. Their presence is a riot of color, texture, and sound, a daily symphony of adornment that announces status and sophistication without a single word. You watch as women draped in flowing linen robes woven with threads of gold and cobalt blue, move with a grace sculpted by years of ritual and expectation. Heavy collars of faience beads and gold shimmer on their necks, catching light like tiny stars caught in silk. Their hair is a masterpiece. Elaborate braids, wigs piled high and dusted with fragrant oils, and jeweled pins that flash like constellations complete their regal appearance. Perfumed oils steam from alabaster bottles, their aromas mingling in the humid air, hinting at jasmine, myrrh, and the mysterious lotus flower. This daily art is not vanity, but a declaration. These women are daughters of the gods, blessed with divine beauty and power that ripple through every gesture and glance. They prepare in private chambers, attended by maids who delicately apply kohl, paint nails, and arrange intricate hairstyles. You overhear a whispered debate among scholars about how much these elaborate routines reinforce the social hierarchy, and whether they were purely aesthetic or served spiritual purposes too. Historians still argue if these rituals empowered women politically or confined them within decorative roles. A quirky tidbit floats to your ears. Noble women sometimes used crushed ants in their manicure mixtures, a detail that sounds bizarre, but was reputed to harden nails and add a faint scarlet tint. You glimpse a courtyard where a feast is being prepared, women laughing, their faces glistening with oils, jewels sparkling as they interact with priests and officials. Their adornment is a language, messages woven from gold and scent, spoken boldly. Every detail is a statement of wealth and refinement. Perfumed fans, embroidered sandals, and delicate ivory combs used to tame their luxurious hair. Even the rhythm of their footsteps seems choreographed, a dance of power and elegance. Here in Thebes, beauty is not just skin-deep, but a multi-sensory experience, a blend of art, religion, and social maneuvering that defines the elite. You walk away with the sense that these women, cloaked in splendor, carried the weight of tradition and ambition wrapped in the softest linens. You find yourself in an ancient artisan's workshop, the walls lined with jars and palettes shimmering with gold dust and vibrant minerals. This is the birthplace of Egypt's golden makeup traditions, where pigments are ground with meticulous care to create colors that transcend mere decoration. The famous Egyptian golden palette isn't just about bling. It's a symbol of power, status, and divine protection, shimmering like a private sun in your palm. You imagine artisans hunched over low benches, mixing powdered gold with aromatic oils, crafting eyeshadows that glitter so intensely the gods might do a double take. Wearing gold on your eyelids is practically a way to flex to both your neighbors and whatever deity is passing by. But it's not all gold. Malachite green, cool, creamy, and steeped in myth, joins deep blue lapis lazuli and crimson ochre on the palette. You catch the rhythm of rhythmic grinding, the soft thump of tiny mortars. Each stroke is applied with careful artistry, green to ward off evil, blue for divine insight, red for the pulse of vitality. Historians still argue whether these pigments were everyday streetwear or reserved only for the select few, but the result is hypnotic either way. Mainstream scholars point out, using gold wasn't just aesthetic, it served as both spiritual light and a not-so-subtle sign of royal opulence. Was that shimmering eyelid really a salute to the sun god Ra, or just a chance to outdazzle your rivals at the Nile's next feast? The debate continues in dusty libraries, but on ancient mirrors the glow is simply undeniable. Here's a quirky tidbit. Sometimes, for just the right shade of shimmering red, Egyptians used crushed beetles. Beauty with a bite never sounded so literal. You hear giggles echoing from the past, maybe from the artisans, maybe from a queen plotting her latest shade for a palace banquet. The process draws in every sense. You inhale the mingling scents of myrrh and frankincense, blended directly into the color mixtures, creating makeup that is equal parts perfume and pigment. These are not products you simply slap on. They are a daily ritual, transforming faces into living talismans, protective shields, and canvases of self-expression. You picture women and men dabbing, swirling, and perfecting their glimmer for hours. The brushstrokes as calm and deliberate as a priest's chant. Every color carries meaning: gold for the eternal, green for rebirth, blue for the mystical. The deeper the shade, the more potent the symbol. Some faces even bear tiny protective designs, stenciled with painstaking care to draw power and luck for the day ahead. You wander past the tables, feeling the power in the pigments. Artisans keep their recipes close. Some even whisper family secrets. How a certain blend only glows by torchlight. How a morning's mixture brings luck at market. The palette is more than makeup. It's armor, language, memory. Even now, across the centuries, you realize the ritual echoes on. The shimmer of gold in modern highlighter palettes, the pop of emerald eyeliner, the fascination with luxurious self-care. It's all there, roots deep in the Nile's banks. The timeless allure of Egypt's golden palette is a reminder that our quest to glow, to stand out, and to tell our own story with a brushstroke connects us through ages, sunlight, and dreams you're still living, even tonight. You inhale deeply as you enter a perfumer's garden. Rows of frankincense, myrrh, and lotus blossoms sway gently in the warm breeze of ancient Egypt. In this sacred space, beauty isn't just about what you see, but what you smell, touch, and feel. Every step is like dipping into a river of scent, a quiet wash of jasmine and honey weaving through the air. Not even the gods themselves could ignore this soap opera of aroma. Fragrant oils are the essence of Egyptian self-care, used daily to nourish skin, ward off pests, and connect with the divine. You imagine perfume brewing artisans, hands stained with petals and resin, grinding their harvest into golden elixirs, so precious that even the pharaoh's court swoons at first whiff. Potions shimmer in translucent flasks, some thick and sticky, others light as air, waiting for their moment to bring a little magic to skin, spirit, or seduction. Each oil carried stories. One blend is thought to heal wounds, another to draw good luck, and yet another to flatter the favor of Ra, the sun god. You watch a noblewoman, her face glistening in the heat, anoint her limbs with sesame and aromatic flower oil, coaxing her skin into a supple glow. It's not just beauty. It's a sacred blessing worn like invisible armor. Mainstream historians love to weigh how far these traditions really went. Was it all health and vanity, or was every brush of oil a prayer? Scholars still argue about the true blend of spiritual and practical motives. But one thing's clear: these potions weren't optional. The use of fragrance, in both the literal and symbolic sense, blurred the line between divine favor and social status. Then comes the quirky fact: Egyptians didn't stick to floral and sweet. Sometimes they mixed in what we might call umami, odd savory elements in perfume to delight and surprise. Think, ancient Egypt's version of having your signature scent plus a little secret ingredient that no one can quite put a finger on. Some even added wine or balsamic resins for an earthy bite. Beauty hackers, ancient style. Oils weren't just medically or ritually precious. They were prized on the market, traded, hoarded, gifted to curry favor, and even used as currency. Perfume vendors in the market hawked their wares at the top of their lungs, boasting aromas to soothe headaches, draw lovers, or impress the high priests. Each bottle is like a lottery ticket for luck, sex appeal, or just a day without pesky flies. The ritual of applying oils became a moment carved out of daily chaos. After a sun-baked morning, you sneak into a cool, shaded courtyard, rub a drop between your palms, and breathe in deeply. It's peace, luxury, and self-respect all at once. A mini meditation, before the next bout of drama with the neighbor's goats. Step into a palace and the scene shifts again. Perfumed slaves and attendants float through the hallways, a walking cloud that expands and extends the queen's presence with every move. It's said the aroma of the queen herself lingered long after she left a room, like a written signature in midair. Talk about leaving an impression. Imagine the impact on visitors, ambassadors entranced not just by gold and jewels, but by the subtle waft of lotus blossom trailing down the hall. A hint of myrrh promises mystique. A touch of frankincense whispers authority. Rival queens go home trying to reverse engineer the recipe. Not so easy when your rivals got the best apothecaries and more trade connections. All through the city, from dusty alleyways to marble-tiled halls, beauty flows on invisible currents, an unbroken stream of scent, oil, and ritual. It's not just self-care. It's a declaration that you're alive, you're important, and you matter in this world. And who knows, maybe the next one too. From everyday care to royal splendor, Egypt's sacred scents and oils weave beauty and power into an invisible, irresistible force. Like the golden makeup and ornate wigs, these fragrances linger beyond the day's end, a legacy with notes of hope and allure carried on air, all the way into your sleep. You enter the royal chambers where art and fashion entwine like serpents on a golden staff. Here, every necklace, every bracelet, and every headdress tells a story loaded with symbolism, power, and supreme style. The air hums with anticipation. The walls glow with the sheen of gold and the flash of blue stones. The beauty here is deliberate, constructed, almost magical in its intent. Adornment in ancient Egypt is more than ornamentation. It's a language that broadcasts status and broadcasts divine favor. You see those wide collars made of gold beads and semi-precious stones, each bead meticulously carved and ritually charged. The weight isn't just physical, it's a mark of lineage, privilege, and cosmic connection. The crowns worn by pharaohs and queens are far from mere fashion statements. They serve as emblems of the gods' blessings, a visible contract between ruler and the heavens above. You picture massive diadems encrusted with lapis lazuli and turquoise, light splitting into prismatic rivers against polished metal, echoing the ripples on the Nile at dawn. Jewelry makers are master artisans here, blending metals and gems into pieces where beauty and mysticism are never strangers. Hammering, chiseling, inlaying. Their craft bridges the earthly and the divine. Some pieces are impossibly delicate, others robust and monumental, all exuding the promise of lasting power. The bracelets and pendants tell stories, the desert's patience, the river's generosity, the sky goddess's smile. Symbols wind through everything. The looped cross of the Ankh for life, the scarab for luck and rebirth, the eye of Horus for protection and unblinking vigilance. Scholars still debate the original meanings of certain icons, but the faith persists. Each motif is a spell, woven with intention and hope, a talisman against decay and fate. A quirky tidbit. Some rings double as seals. Their carvings so sharp, you can imprint your authority on wax with a flick of the wrist. Fashion and function, you think. The original double threat. Imagine signing a royal decree, your ring literally sealing your dominance as it flashes in palace light. Extravagance knows no limits here. Beyond gold and stones, the elite favor fine linen veils embroidered with sacred patterns, scented fans flicking exotic aromas, amulets tucked under garments for secret strength. Even casual accessories are designed to stimulate the senses. Sight, scent, touch, and sometimes a jingle to please the ear. You imagine noblewomen in their morning rituals, the quiet concentration as they fasten beads, the careful threading of a diadem through braided hair. The way an amulet is pressed to the chest before a big day. Servants and priests hover, eyes sharp to catch every detail. Adorning oneself is a ritual as sacred as any written prayer. Adornment bridges life and the afterlife. Tombs burst with replicas of favorite headdresses and necklaces, proof that beauty and power are eternal pursuits. Those treasures wait quietly beside the mummified, promising comfort, status, and maybe a bit of envy from the gods on the other side. You step away, the weight and wonder of this wearable storytelling lingering with you. The art of adornment is a timeless emblem of Egyptian identity, a conversation between self, society, and the infinite, all wrapped around wrists, necks, and dreams. You wander through the bustling streets of ancient Egypt, noticing how beauty manifests differently across the spectrum of society, from slaves laboring under the blazing sun to nobles lounging in silk-draped palace chambers. Each class has its own take on the beauty ideals, shaped by access, necessity, and cultural tradition. The Nile's breeze brings not just the scent of lush reeds, but a crisscross of floral perfume, sweat, and ever-present dust, mingling the presence of every social order in your nostrils. For the working classes, beauty is practical and fiercely tied to survival. You watch a field worker in the heat of the day, her dark skin shielded by a thick reddish paste of ochre and animal fat. This gritty sunblock is as crucial to her as the loaf of barley bread tucked into her satchel. Protection before prettiness. The kohl lining her eyes flashes with defiance as she wipes sweat from her brow, a subtle luxury earned through hard labor and a sly nod to the gods and whoever else may be watching. The merchants bustle by, sporting hair carefully braided in tight rows and modest trinkets in copper or beadwork. Their jewelry is a compromise, bling enough to show respectability but never so much as to court envy or suspicion. Layers of eye paint are more about vibrancy and social standing than opulence, ensuring they don't fade into the background during bustling deals at market. Even their children get a little kohl and a chalk mark, a mark of community rather than extravagance. Slave women, so often skipped over by the papyrus scribes, have their own beauty rituals as well. You see one rubbing a mix of fish grease and dried herbs over reddened arms, a practical balm for the harsh sun, and also a nod to dignity and tenderness. Her nails are short but carefully shaped, because even in hardship, presentable hands matter. Cracked skin is not just uncomfortable, it's a mark of neglect no one wants to show. You spot a threadbare comb fashioned out of split reed pinned behind her ear, function and flair bundled together in a quiet rebellion against invisibility. In the palace's cool shadow, upper-class women glide by in a cloud of perfume. Here, beauty is selective, indulgent, and almost ceremonial. You're swept into a side chamber filled with intricate wigs and flasks of scented oil, waiting to be poured over bronze limbs. Painted nails gleam, linen shifts float, and even eyelash enhancements glimmer for the highborn. Everything is curated with an eye on status and that ever-elusive favor from the gods, because nothing, absolutely nothing, about their beauty is left to randomness. Mainstream historians often debate the evidence, how far beauty routines truly extended into the lower strata of society, given that artifacts rarely survive outside royal burials. Did everyone have access to cosmetics? Or was it just the domain of those with time and means to spare? Still, the hints scattered across tomb paintings, household remnants, and lingering lore suggest a far wider importance placed on self-presentation than the catalogers admit. Scholars still argue if beauty was democratized or kept as a privilege, with truth likely nestled somewhere in between. Here's your fringe, quirky detail. Some lower-class men chewed crushed mint leaves before market negotiations, desperate for fresh breath and a shot of confidence. Swagger with a side of chlorophyll. In a world without toothpaste, Making sure your bargains weren't sabotaged by mummified breath was a form of shrewd self-care. Elite trends set the current that trickled down, slowly, then all at once. During festival processions along the broad avenues or religious ceremonies crowded before the temples, beauty, fashion, and power made their public debut. That's when the rules blurred a little. Servants mirrored their mistresses. Artisans added a golden touch to clay beads. And even the poorest could hope for a hint of faded lotus oil on a feast day. You notice the art on the walls, murals where nobility and attendants sometimes wear similar jewelry or paint, if never the same cloth. In ritual, gestures cross classes. In daily reality, the ranks stand firm. Social mobility? About as likely as sneaking a golden collar out of the palace. Still, beauty provides a tiny rebellion, a moment to claim attention and self-worth. You realize, finally, that beauty in Egypt isn't a homogeneous code. It's an ecosystem. Each layer of society adapts and reinvents, all adding their flourish to a grand, sunlit tapestry. Some brush on color for survival, others for seduction, and many for the sheer joy of being seen. As you leave the market plaza, the heat softens into dusk and the city glows, not just with golden light, but with the careful daily efforts of everyone who ever wanted to feel beautiful in the eyes of their gods, their families, and maybe, just maybe, themselves. You settle into the library of time, where papyrus fragments and dusty tomes shape more questions than answers about ancient Egyptian beauty standards. While some facts shine bright, others warp in shadows, creating fertile ground for debate and discovery. Archaeologists unearthing burial sites find rich caches of cosmetic artifacts, coal pots, alabaster jars, and palettes. Yet they grapple with what these truly reveal about daily life versus ceremonial splendor. Some finds suggest that cosmetics were as integral to Egyptian life as bread and beer. But how much this applied to the average farmer or craftsman is still a riddle waiting for the next sweep of a paintbrush or a soft bristle. Historians still argue fiercely about the interpretation of these finds. Was makeup an everyday practice for all, or a luxury reserved for the elite? Did beauty rituals function primarily as spiritual tools, social currency, or both? The truth is a beautiful mess of overlapping roles. Some believe coal and oils were protective talismans, while others lean toward an explanation rooted in status and visibility. New technologies like chemical residue analysis peel back layers of mystery, revealing exotic ingredients that trace ancient trade routes and hint at global connections long before modern maps. It turns out that beauty, at least in a jar, sometimes traveled further than most Egyptians ever would, creating a system where a dab of blue or a swirl of red carried whispers of distant mountains, deserts, and bustling harbors. You observe how scholars challenge old narratives, rewriting history to include voices of women whose stories were long buried beneath official chronicles. Questions about who actually crafted and wore these cosmetics and why are reshaping what was once considered unchanging tradition. A quirky bit of detective work reveals that some ancient beauty secrets might even include ingredients now banned in modern cosmetics, raising eyebrows from toxicologists and historians alike. Lead-based coal, anyone? Beauty at your own risk? Some things apparently never change. Despite disagreements, there's a shared understanding that beauty in ancient Egypt was as complex and powerful as the civilization itself, a mirror reflecting identity, religion, health, and politics. The deeper you look, the more you realize that beauty routine could mean holy rite, political tool, or quasi-medicinal shield, sometimes all at once. Discoveries continue to come from tombs, temples, and workshops, each unearthing new clues that reshape what we thought we knew about who could wear beauty and why. A new jar in a poorly marked grave can upend a chapter in a heartbeat. Some ideas remain unresolved, inviting you to imagine and speculate about the vibrant mosaic of ancient Egyptian life, seen through the lens of cosmetics and adornment. You close this chapter in wonder, aware that the debate is far from over. Beauty remains a living dialogue between past and present. You're back in the present, but the echoes of ancient Egypt gently ripple beneath your skin, like the afterglow of a sunset over the Nile. The legacy of those golden days stretches into today's world, shaping ideas of beauty, power, and style in subtle and sometimes bold ways. From Cleopatra's enduring image to the iconic kohl-lined eyes that grace countless runways and screens, Egypt's beauty ideals are alive, well, and thriving. You might spot winged eyeliner, metallic highlights, or intricate jewelry reflecting ancient motifs without even realizing it. Actors, models, even your barista on a particularly fabulous morning carry hints of Egyptian glamour. Historians still argue how much contemporary fashion borrows directly from Egypt, but one thing is clear: the timeless allure of Egyptian beauty transcends millennia. Every cat-eye flick and drop of jasmine oil is part of a current that ran through temple courtyards and now rushes through TikTok and trending hashtags. You think about the rituals you've learned, mixing oils, applying colors, crowning yourself with adornments, and wonder how closely your morning routine mirrors an ancient rite of passage. Are you channeling Cleopatra when you reach for that shimmer, or just hunting for a little extra confidence? Maybe both. Even in modern spa culture, the echoes persist. Milk and honey baths, scented oils, and gold-infused treatments harken back to those royal indulgences, blending science with fantasy. The spa becomes a palace, if only for a little while. A quirky note: some celebrity beauty trends have popped off because of a fascination with Cleopatra, proving that ancient allure can shape modern fame. The myth remains marketable, the image always ready for a close-up. The scholarship continues to unravel new insights, reminding us that beauty isn't just skin deep, but a powerful symbol of identity, culture, and ambition. It's universal, ever-changing, and still a topic for debate around kitchen tables and academic symposiums alike. You realize that Egyptian beauty was never static, constantly evolving, layered with meaning, myth, and practicality. It survived invasions, the rise and fall of dynasties, and still finds room on your shelf and in your mirror. So as you close your eyes tonight, you carry the spirit of those ancient rituals within you, an invisible thread connecting past to present, whispered on the breeze and reflected in the shimmer of your own reflection. As the night deepens, you find yourself slowing down, like a river gently folding into the calm after a sunlit day. The stories of golden oils, fragrant gardens, and shimmering jewels start to sink softly into the quiet folds of your mind. Each image fades into a gentle glow, like embers cooling in the moonlight. You breathe in slowly, the air now cooler, carrying whispers of jasmine and myrrh, comforting and warm. There's a softness in the world around you, a tender hush that wraps itself carefully around your senses. The richness of ancient rituals feels less distant now, almost like a lullaby, a whisper from times long past but never forgotten. The glitter of gold, the scent of sacred oils, the elegance of hair woven with care. They all blend into a peaceful tapestry woven through time and memory. You sense the hands that mixed pigments, anointed skin, and braided hair. Their touch a bridge from past to present, connecting you softly to the flow of human beauty and grace. There's a gentle reassurance here in the thought that beauty, no matter the era, is a quiet song that soothes the soul and honors the self. The world settles around you in slow rhythms, and you feel yourself drifting on that steady current, buoyed by the tender rituals of ancient Egypt and the enduring magic they hold. Tonight, Rest in that soft glow. Let your breath even out, your muscles relax, and your mind wander gently through the fading hues of history's golden light. The journey between past and present is a quiet one, an invisible thread linking us all in the simplest, most enduring way. Good night and sweet dreams.